and we disallow what's going on in Cuba and Venezuela. Think about that. Lift the arms embargo on Latin American economies too. Sell weapons to Colombia and all the other countries that want to join us, because who is buying military equipment if it's not being purchased from the United States? Soviets. Call them Russia. I believe they're still Soviets because their mentality is the same. Anybody go to YouTube and see the Putin speech, by the way? In the Red Square, speaking to his military. Huge. I mean, it looked like the Third Reich, I swear to you. It's amazing. And Putin was just at it. He was just talking about the fertility rate in the country, how it's going down worldwide, and the United States and the European Union are participating in reducing the population of the world through homosexuality and genitalia mutilation. I mean, go to Google and see it. I watched it. It was a Putin finest, and you're going to tell me that Trump colluded with this guy? Are you kidding me? Jeez. I believe that the future of the United States relies in the economic development of Latin America with the United States, where you can't see light between us. It's either going to happen by force or happen under terms of American imperialist, capitalist jurisprudence and business ethos. You either do it the American way or you do it the hard way. The hard way would be that the majority of American citizens are Spanish speaking. 50 years has passed. You've been neglected to take me seriously. And the now Latin American, the American Colombian, American Venezuela, the American Argentine, just like the American Cuban, is now ruling you. Okay? Just simply. Think about it. When the majority of the United States are brown, because they're out reproducing Anglo-America, then they're going to do business the Latin American way. And it's not going to be nice. It's going to be full of corruption. Serious corruption. I'm talking about not being able to even go to court and get paid. Not being able to do anything by laws, if not by complete Chicago-style kickback. Because the Latin American world is a kickback, a giant kickback. And that only explains why the United States are reluctant to dedicate all its time, not some of its time, all of its time, to doing trade with Latin America. Why did we approach China? Think about it. Why did we approach China? Well, Nixon told us flat out, we're going to do business with China because if we don't do business with China, then Stalin and Mao will become the best of friends, communist friends, and between the two of them, they would be hard to beat. So these things were created to keep China open to our form of business. Because we knew the Soviets would eventually fall flat on their faces, but imagine they became an economic union. They share borders, so communism would prevail. Now communism is somewhat marginalized, but the real conversation we're going to be having one day is there's going to be a serious threat to free market capitalism from the standpoint of state capitalism, statist capitalism. State capitalism is what Mao envisioned, where the government owns 70% of the commerce, 30% is owned by the innovator and the creative. Alibaba is a fine example of that. How big will the Chinese government allow Alibaba to grow, which is kind of their Amazon.com? How big will they allow them to grow? How big will the entrepreneurial forces in China, how big can they grow when their land is not theirs? It's owned by the government. So if you own a factory, you can own the building, the electricity, and the buildup. But the truth is, the land is always the Free Republic of China. The People's Republic of China owns the land underneath all those businesses. Do you know where in the United States where those laws do exist? Call the studio, 305-365-7777. Better than a taxi. You know the answer is? Honolulu, Hawaii, where the Indians own the land in downtown Honolulu. And those skyscrapers you see actually have Hawaiian natives, tribesmen, the Duke Hokomokos of Hawaii, owning the land that these skyscrapers sit on. So I don't know exactly what they intend to do with having that right, repossessing. I don't know what that would cause in the Hawaiian courts, but nevertheless, it's law. So Google that, find out what the relationship is. Now in China, government just steps in. They'll just walk in. They'll just walk in, close the door, and say, hey, you're no longer the billionaire you thought you were. They'll put you in jail in a second. They'll accuse you of something, and boom. So I can tell you one thing. We need to fortify Judeo-Christian capitalism in the United States. Europe has fallen into Sharia law little by little. That open gate, open border, no weapons culture that perhaps we even imposed on them during the Marshall Plan. Because if you research it, the United States didn't want an armed Europe after World War II. Who can blame them since we're putting up all the money to repair them in the Marshall Plan? There's a lot of banking laws that were put in place that has created the Europe of today. So it's not all Europeans' fault, you know what I mean? Europeans, stay free, my friends. But you all are going to have a tough time. You have no weapons, you have open borders, and Muslims want to kill you. Like it or not, Muslims themselves, as much as they are not radicalized, the vast majority of them, the truth is, they believe in the caliphate. They believe there's some kind of destiny. There's some kind of return to the days of the Ottoman Empire. And they've already proclaimed that Spain is their new target. They believe they're going to enter through Spain and spread to the rest of Europe. And Europeans are not too crazy about enlisting in the army and the military. They're not those brave soldiers that Americans have that actually wake up every day wondering when they can go overseas and fight for the United States and fight for freedom. Americans still believe in freedom and willing to fight and bleed for it in foreign lands. I don't believe the European soldier could care less about fighting for freedom in foreign lands. There's a lot to think about in this country. There's a lot to sit around and say, you know what? Perhaps we should listen and get others to listen to the concrete conservative, because he's talking stuff that aren't really obvious to us. I come from with just a different angle from my experience in life, truth or fail. I've seen poverty and I've seen wealth. I've watched the American dream up front and personal. The life of my father, Roberto Cambo, came here with $70, made it in America, left us millions. If he can do it, why can't we all do it? But no one realized how hard it was for him. He gave up so much of his personal time and effort. There's a lot of things he did not buy. A lot of places he did not go. And he was able to do right by my mother, by my two brothers, by his community. He was able to participate in the founding of a city that shares shores with Havana, which is the island of Key Biscayne, naming it the village of Key Biscayne. No opposition, no disagreement can debate that. Deal with it. I believe in capitalism. I enjoy capitalism. I believe in God. And I enjoy God. and I work for him, as I promised in 1987 after my car accident. And I love Key Biscayne, and I've shown it that I'll fight for it. I'll put my money where my mouth is in it for it. And now I want to share it with the rest of the 164,000 potential listeners we have there to the south, east of US 1 all the way to Palmetto Bay. We'll go and find Nemo together, you and I, here on WSQF Blink Radio, where I blink once, yes, I said it, until tomorrow. Blink twice. I hope you didn't miss it. Take care, my friends, until tomorrow.